Namaskar and hello out there. Abhidevananda here, still hovering over the Ocean of Bliss. And yes, it is the Ocean of Bliss, not the Atlantic, not the Pacific, the Ocean of Bliss. And the weather is great, not too hot, not too cold, just right, in my opinion. I don't talk much about the third Indian group, the miscellaneous Indians, those whose mother tongue is neither Hindi nor Bengali. But their lust for power, the mania of the miscellaneous Indian group, is no less than that of the Hindi and the Bengali groups. They simply go about it in a more clandestine fashion. And of course, it is easier to ignore these people because they have less impact on Anandamarga than the Hindis and the Bengalis. So this commentary will be relatively short because these people don't merit as much attention as the Hindis and Bengalis. They are the small fry. But still something must be said because whatever impact this miscellaneous Indian group does have on Anandamarga, it tends to be very bad. Back in the 1980s, this group first asserted itself with a program they called MOSOP, and later Super MOSOP, initially under the leadership of the then SS Manila Chit Krishnananda. Their ideology, if we can call it that, was MOSOP. Money solves all problems, which of course it does not. But they thought that they could control Anandamarga if they simply generated enough money. Enough money by any means. And so toward that end, they engaged in various deceitful and dishonest practices. I won't go into all of that because, well, I'll just say that this group of Indians, along with their non-Indian stooges, got a taste for an undisciplined, elite, and indeed somewhat decadent status. And that same group keeps rearing its ugly head in Anandamarga from time to time. As a group, they have done some truly horrendous and treacherous deeds over the years, for the most part bringing disrepute upon our mission. But let me not go into all of that. Rather, let me say only that deceit is at the root of their practices. These are people who have forgotten what it means to be simple and straightforward. So sometimes they will fly the banner of Third Front, and sometimes they will call themselves Unity Group. Once they were called the Way Forward, and after that, Effecting Change. And at other times they pretended to have no allegiance whatsoever. But this is a long-standing cabal managed by a few miscellaneous Indian bigwigs. Of course, they may have added a few ignorant or overly ambitious people to their cadre since the 1980s. But behind the scenes, it is more or less the same people who pull the strings, if they are still alive. There is probably no need to mention those names or to talk much about their blind followers. Enough people already know who these crooks are. So if you are subscribed to that plethora of Telegram forums, most of whose members were not invited to join but rather simply added to the lists, then these are your hosts. They will never tell you openly who they are and what they truly represent. That is basically power and free license for themselves. But behind everything they do, is a fundamental self-serving objective. One other thing to know about these people is that they are inveterate liars. Facts are just pebbles on the road of their jealous and greedy propaganda juggernaut. They pretend to want change, but the truth is that the only change they want is more power for themselves. They prefer not to name the culprits, the demons in human form who are ravaging our mission, not out of any delicacy, much less discipline, but only because, well, those in glass houses should not throw stones. So wise people will take whatever this group says with a large grain of salt. And if for some reason you want to stay subscribed to this group's lists, I strongly recommend not investing much of your energy there. For the most part, it is simply a waste of time. As I have said before, this is a Tower of Babel. There might be some facts scattered amid the filth, but it only takes a few grains of sand to spoil an entire bag of sugar. And on these Telegram forums, there is much more dirt than just a few grams, a few specks. Surely most persons getting this miscellaneous Indian, Mossop, Way Forward, EC, Third Front, Unity Group propaganda have far better things to do with their life and with their time. Okay, so just to sum up, this third group, the miscellaneous Indians, or maybe better to just call them the Telegram scammers, they are no better than the other two groups, the Hindis and the Bengalis. Certainly these Telegram scammers are no less hypocritical than the others. In fact, from at least one perspective, they might even be a bit worse, due to their largely distracting and insidious approach. The only saving grace of the Telegram scammers is that they are less powerful than the other two groups. And let that be my word to the wise today. Signing out for now from the Ocean of Bliss. Namaskar.